mask wearing's working, folks, right? It's extremely unlikely that it's a coincidence that really a couple weeks after the mask wearing requirement is when we started to see significant decreases in the transmission. So that's continuing. That's continuing for another month. With the better data we have, we always inform our decisions around bars and late night events. It's always informed by the data, by the epi state of where we are. We are glad to be in a situation where we announce the last call will be moved to 11 o'clock rather than 10 o'clock. And I am hopeful that if the data continues to show the trend we have, I'm very hopeful that within a month that can then go to midnight, in a data-driven process that ties in the level of risk with transmission, with the presence of the virus in our state and the trend in the virus. But starting this Saturday, last call will be 11 o'clock. And it's very important that all those restaurants and bars observe the social distancing protocols, because there's no fooling the data, there's no fooling the math. If there's huge outbreaks, it means that we can't handle as a society those kinds of inebriated late night activities. But hopefully it'll provide folks a little bit more breathing room to get to 11 o'clock for last call in a safe way, meaning the bars that are open also are able to function as restaurants. They have food service. And then what's really important, it's not the food, it's not the alcohol. That's not what, those are proxies. Those are very important proxies. But what's important is the social environment. So if you're coming with 6 people, are you sitting at a table facing each other with the people you came with and hanging out and having a good time? And then there's another table 8 feet away or 10 feet away or whatever it is. The kind of freewheeling social environment where one person interacts with 86 people is what would lead to an instant super spreader event. And we would be right back where we were, and it would devastate not only our lifestyle, not only cost lives, but it would devastate bars and nightlife and restaurants because of that increased incidence. We're doing better than many states from a health perspective, and because of that, our economy is doing better than many states. It's one is a direct result of the other. If you look in western Colorado.
All right, that's the governor. It is a Friday. It's August 21st, and we thank you for joining us. The Modern Eater Show continues right here. It's going to be a good one, and you just heard it. Basically, thank you, sir. Can we have another? Serving at the pleasure of the governor at this point, and there's a lot of interesting things going on. 1 month has passed since the 10 p.m. curfew. For last call, 10 p.m. last call, and now it's extended an hour, as you just heard the governor say that. Alongside of Jay Parker and Brian Freeman, I'm Greg Hollenbach. We'll get it going right now with our in-studio guests, and it's good to see you guys again. From the Little Pub Company, his name's Mark Berzins, and from Blake Street Tavern, Chris Fuselier is here with us. Gentlemen.
Thanks for having us.
I know.
Thank you.
A lot to take in on a Friday, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
let's dig in. Governor speaks. 1 month has went by. We've all completed our sentence, and now we get an extra hour of playtime out in the yard.
It feels that way. It feels like we're being treated like 13-year-olds. Yeah. And like, well, we're now going to give you an extra hour of recess. Mm-hmm. And if we're good for the next 30 days, then we can go to 12 p.m. 12 a.m., excuse me. And it's just, we had those in, we had really hoped to get to midnight, meet in the middle. Normally we close at 2. And I know Mark's places close at 2. And that extra hour actually means a lot. I mean, that's where we get a lot of people that come in after work, a lot of service industry workers, a lot of people have other jobs that come in late. And if they come in after 11:01 and they want a burger and beer, we can't do that.
You're out of luck. Yeah.
We're out of luck. And it's we keep requesting the data. Where is the data for making these decisions? And I was on a webinar this morning with Sonia Riggs, head of the CRA, and she had invited a bunch of Colorado Department of Public Health people, and Casey Wolf, who's the governor's advisor, and they spoke about the data, and I asked about the data, and we just got a gobbledygook answer. And then the governor and Dr. Hurley today again, a reporter asked about the data, and they just continued to dance around it. And if they had the data, then show us the data, and then we'll shut up if that's what things prove. But right, Mark? I mean, it's all, with the government.
How's the last month been, Mark? How's the last month been?
I mean, it's brutal.
It is.
They already took 50% of our capacity, and then for those of us who do meaningful late night business, that's another 30% haircut, and so it's really tough. And I think what bothers me about this whole narrative is, I don't know if you've ever played that game of if you repeat a lie often enough, it sort of becomes true.
Gaslighting.
And so hearing the governor repeat right away and if we prove responsible and this, and then we'll give another hour. He's already spinning this tale that we were responsible in the first place, and that he had to shut us down for 4 hours because the data showed we were responsible in the first place. And really everything, anyone you talk to, even in the health department, will tell you that's not the case. They've largely traced these incidents, including the spike around 4th of July, back to private parties, private behavior. We just get to be the convenient, highly regulated tool they can use to show that they're doing something about it. And it's concerning because you think kids are all returning to college. And so if you see the 20 to 29-year-old demographic spike again, instead of addressing the college problem, it will be, let's use that tool of closing down the bars to accomplish our social distancing goals, his 65% and whatnot. We're now just the most convenient tool that they can use to manage through this crisis. Even though we're not responsible, our business becomes this. Anyway.
He keeps talking about data, and as you both
Finish
have
that
said,
thought, Mark.
he's
Your
not,
business
he's
becomes
not giving
what?
you.
A shell?
Yeah, we are just we are an afterthought. We are something that is like a dimmer switch. I'll just go turn that down a couple clicks, and that'll correct what's happening. And if we have to shut it all the way off, then that's just what we have to do. And if any of you saw the posting of the Denver Department of Public Health has been going around and performing these really heavy-handed visits with a couple investigators and a uniformed officer, and almost breaking in like they're expecting to catch a gambling, like the Sting. They're going to catch a gambling operation, kicking down the front door, and they come in, and if you read this list of 150 violations they wrote up, they're all these little minor things. There's very few egregious violations. They are a cook had his mask down, or 2 employees were not masked up, or whatever. And to me, it shows the other direction. We're not the cause of this, and they know it, but it's like the TSA. If you're patting down grandma and you're making all the kids put their backpacks through the x-ray machine, everyone feels safer. And we remain that switch because they can do it to us. You can't do it to anybody else.
I mean, here it is. We're having this conversation. We might as well have the real one. You sent an email over outlining just some of the frustration, especially with the Restaurant Association. And there were a couple of points in here that I would really like to talk about, if you don't mind. And we actually have already, but beginning to embrace the narrative that we need to do a better job and earn back our operating rights. It's like so interesting to see the slope sliding and continue to make you as operators so hamstrung that at the end.
Yeah, Jay, if I can interrupt, and what was really ironic.
Jay,
I'm sorry. It's been a long day.
Everybody,
it's been a long day.
Everybody loves
Jay.
Hey, I do the same thing. It's okay.
Okay. Sorry. What was really ironic about the governor's press conference is that he even mentioned that that, hey, I think bars should stay open to 4 a.m. And they're, but by the time, and he even said it, well, it's got to go with the legislature stuff. That's a year from now, 9 months from now. We're trying to get to next week. Many of us are trying to get to, how am I going to pay my September 1st rent now? I have a lease that I'm in contentious negotiations with my landlord. Mark has a number of properties that are leases in buildings he owns. We're 5 months into this pandemic. It's not like it happened yesterday. And the landlords are getting very restless. They want resolutions. And so when Mark says about getting our operator rates, it's like, people say to me, like, well, it's only a couple hours. Well, our profit is selling alcohol. And we do a tremendous late-night kitchen business. And so we need that. And so, it's not like you're chopping off, if we were let's say we did it this way. If we are forced to close from 2 in the afternoon to 5 in the afternoon, no problem. We don't do much business. But those late night hours, we need that. And what was also striking to me at the press conference is the governor said, I'm really about, I've been to a restaurant 3 times. I mean, are you kidding me? He said that. He goes, and I did outdoors every time. Well, that's great. I mean, I think that, there's a lot of people that have chosen not to go to a restaurant. I respect that. There's some that just go to a restaurant that have outdoor dining. Outdoor dining is phenomenal. But, Governor, could you at least throw us a bone and say, we haven't gone out that often, but, boy, I sure do takeout delivery.
Sure. Showing some support
and
for
there's
the
a photo,
industry,
and then
right?
there's a photo op.
Yeah.
And so it just, and it's also a case of it takes one to know one. So they don't have the data, but let's say the governor, and we know he doesn't drink, and I hate to bring that up, but he doesn't drink. But I think him and his inner circle have this perception that we're all dancing on the tables and playing the music loud at 10:01, or now we're allowed to go to 11:01. I can tell you that my place and Mark's places, we don't manage any differently whether it's 11:01 in the morning or 11:01 at night. We still maintain the distancing. We still insist on people wearing masks. So we just don't know where these folks are getting it in their head that we're completely getting inebriated and people can't distance themselves.
Data. Data's a big point of contention right now. You guys have data. What's the data from the last month?
Well, what's really interesting is frequently the governor's people cite we want to see 55, 65% social distancing, which means you're interacting with 55% or 65% fewer contacts than you would otherwise have. And so if you chop us all down to 50% capacity, or in Chris's case, far less, you've already, on the back of our industry, you've already accomplished 50% social distancing. And then you take away the late night business, and you're probably, it's all being accomplished on our backs. And that's sort of the problem I have with it is there's really not a shared sacrifice in this. There are certain public regulated businesses, not just ourselves, but gymnasiums, the usual suspects.
Concerts.
We're the ones that get to pay the freight on this whole thing, and there's really no thought being given to how are we going to address the sustainability of these industries if we keep taking the cost of distancing out of their hide.
You're right, Mark. And I want to add that what's really frustrating to both of us is that it's not a collaborative process. I mean, we all know that there's no COVID playbook out there. This is all brand new stuff. But they refuse to work with us. I mean, the Denver Department of Public Health published an article of the 115 violations that they issued. And, I mean, why do you need to publicly shame places? That reminds you of the days where you put a letter grade on your front door.
Scarlet letter.
Scarlet letter. And it's like they're already suffering enough. They're going to have to pay a $999 citation. I mean, what's wrong with giving a warning first? And we've complained about that. It's like, let's make this collaborative rather than, predatory. Same thing with the state. I mean, it's this The decision about the 10 p.m. rule was not collaborative. It was a bombshell dropped on us. But if we go back to May when we reopened and we supported, we remember, guys, Colorado opened later than Texas and other states. And you know what? That probably was a smart decision because look at our numbers now. And then you see what's going on in Texas. But at that time, the governor sent proposed guidelines to us on a Tuesday. In those guidelines, there's some stuff that was pretty onerous. One of them was that he wanted 8 feet distancing. Well, I start Googling USA, where's 8 feet distancing? No place. I start Googling the world. There's no 8 foot distancing. So we had a town hall with the governor on Thursday, and then they came back to us with the regulations on Saturday. But, another thing that they wanted at the time was a 10 p.m. curfew. And we fought against it. We were able to stay open to 2. But that was a collaborative process, and I think we can all agree that worked out well. But since then, it has not been collaborative. The 10 p.m. rule was not discussed with us. I mean, in fact, but Sonia Riggs got a phone call the day before. Well, when do restaurants close? And, asking her dumb questions like, when do restaurants close? And she goes, well, some close at 10, but a lot of them stay open later. And then it's like a 10-minute phone call. But he doesn't tell her, this is what I'm going to do. If he had said to her, Sonia, I am concerned about late-night drinking. I am concerned about 20-year-olds. Can the CRA provide me data for what are you getting? He didn't ask for it. Same thing again today. He didn't ask for the data. He gave us notice last night, but he didn't ask for the data.
So for the past month, we've really just been lamenting in what is reality. And, again, I do want to go back and say, what has the past month looked for you guys? What is it?
Well, I'm down. Marcus said, I think you said you were down 30% last month.
An additional 30%.
There's an additional 30%.
An additional.
He's down additional. Now, I'm down 80% from a year ago, and for the past 30 days, I'm down 20% from, say, 6 weeks ago. So, And what's really frustrating is that both of us our bars are sports oriented. Sure. We've been waiting for the Avalanche and the Nuggets and Rockies. We know that we didn't get it in this series, but the next series there's going to be some night games, and potentially 8:30 games. Well, the average length of an NHL game is 2.5 hours, but 25% of all NHL playoff games go into the overtime. Well, that's going to take us past 11 o'clock. So, there's going to be games, guys, where we're going to go into midnight, 1 in the morning. We've all been there with Avalanche, right? But our customers are going to have to calculate and purchase at 10:45. Okay, are we going to overtime? Are we not? Am I sticking around? And then we have to go around with it's like
are tokens and tickets a thing right now?
You can't do it.
Tell me more.
They said, the LED said, we cannot do tokens or tickets. So everything at what we do at Blake Street is you have to purchase that item and we give it to you. We don't hold on to it later, And so we try to sell buckets of beer, bottles of wine, but still, it's not part of the experience. Yeah. You want to pay your bill when you leave, not when. It's like someone coming up to you. Sure. In the middle of your entree and saying, what would you like for dessert? Yeah. And you don't know whether you want it or not.
Great analogy. We do have to take a pause and come back. I want to do a reset. These two guys, they have late-night businesses. That's just the bottom line.
This is a great conversation. I think we're going to get more into this, but this is exciting to hear your guys' side.
Well, I want to add this. Okay, so I'm down 20% with this late-night business. Mark's down 30%. We have friends of ours that, like, one of them has a gay nightclub. He's down 90%. All of his business comes in after 10. So he's getting crushed. And there's plenty of places that are open late, but that their clientele goes out late, but they still maintain social distancing.
And, Governor, you know just as well as I do that the gatherings haven't stopped. You're just taking it out of the bars.
Jay has something to say when we come back, too, because I have a really interesting 60-second story about the whole about this whole thing. It's going to blow you away. And Andre Friese, when he was in here, was talking about, man, I got invited to a party because the bar was closed, and they said, well, the bar's closed, so we're going over here. And he showed up, and there's 30 people all just smashing each other around the place with no mask. He turned around and got the hell out of there.
I'd much rather go into a professional environment with trained professionals that do this for a living and take it very seriously. But we've been singing that tune for a month. Now another hour has been given. Is it a month? What's the projection where maybe you get another hour and it goes to midnight? Is that out there?
You know, they're so considerate with the dimmer switch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we usually are lucky to get notification the day before of what our business is going to look like. So I'm assuming 29 days and 12 hours from today, he's going to drop the bomb, and maybe we'll be closed the next day. Maybe we'll be back to 10 o'clock the next day. Maybe I'll have midnight. But, Tuesday, when a reporter asked him, what are you going to do with last call, it sure would have been nice to have him say, I do think we're going to relax that. But the drama, news outlets and our politicians and health officials are loving this moment in the spotlight, and they love it's like a cliffhanger.
It's stringing us along.
We're going to let you know. He said earlier this week, we're going to let you know the day before, but it could very well be the day of. And you think, that's so considerate.
Yeah.
Word got out last night, and I was approached by 6 different reporters yesterday, approached by 10 other bar owners. What's he going to do? What's he going to do? And just, you've had time to think about it. And Mark's correct that, he could have, what should have been happening this week, or actually last week, is like, okay, guys, we believe we want to go to midnight because look at these numbers. Look at the low positivity rate. Look at, everything's down. We're top 5 in the country in great numbers. So that's where we would be coming from. So we would be like, well, because we're doing that and the masking's working, we propose midnight. We came to the middle. And for them to just make this arbitrary decision, they think, we'll give you, it's like, here you go. Here's a little piece of candy, And it's just,
aren't you used to it by now?
Yeah, but I think what's really frustrating is that I think in the governor's inner circle, they're just plain old is not a person that has either had small business owner experience, restaurant experience, hospitality experience. It's not where we're coming from, and
clearly your business is right now an afterthought. You're just one notch above a brothel, probably in his mind.
It's true.
And we at least have a platform. We're able to come on this show and talk to you guys. Yeah. You think about the small operators, the mom and pop operators, the one that everyone loves to say we care most about small business. Those poor guys are just getting yo-yoed around, and
let's pause.
Because I want to add to that thought.
Okay. Oh, you do. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I was talking to a reporter this morning, and she goes, I heard that they're claiming that there's 60 outbreaks to restaurants, and then I brought it up in my webinar, and I said, of the 60. Isn't it true that we're grouped in with Wendy's and Chick-fil-A and Taco Bell?
Chick-fil-A alone. 10% of that number is Chick-fil-A.
So Casey Wolf says, well, I guess you guys are grouped in with them. And I go, well, do you realize they do not have in-room dining and they do not have a liquor license? So it's really about 30 of the full-service outbreaks. Then I talked to the reporter. She goes, I did some digging about that, what you said, Chris, because she's on the webinar with me. And a lot of those are Mexican restaurants. And my theory there is that they're like mom and pop. They're not getting the messaging. They're not listening to Modern Eater podcasts. They're not on 9 News. Do you think that each of these local public health departments are walking around and being educational and telling these people this is what you need to do? So that's what I think is going on. I tell you what they're doing instead is walking around giving citations rather than walking in the middle of the day. Plus, as Mark fully aware, they're walking around doing citations at 9, 10 o'clock at night on a Saturday night, really messing with your business.
Yeah.
And this whole business with DDPHE requiring a uniform presence is so intimidating, so threatening. And hopefully we made some leeway with them this week and say, you know what, you need to go to plain clothes. Because the presence of a uniform, if you're sitting there eating dinner, you see a uniformed person, you're thinking, there's a problem here, what's going on? Or if you're driving by and you see a cop car, you're like, I'm not going in there.
The guys are different, but they're all the same with the message. And we had Troy Guard on earlier in the week who identified that same thought as you, and just ridiculous as walking in as though you're lawbreakers right off the bat. What does that do to your customers? What does it do to
Greg,
the mindset?
will the little guys survive anymore?
Well,
I mean, I'd ask.
We'll go into a little deeper conversation because how long? And the question I want to ask, and we'll talk about it after the break, is how long is this sustainable, guys? Chef Troy Guard was visibly itchy on the show.
He was.
And not that he's going to show his hands of really maybe how bleak it is, but he was visibly itchy. And I can see that it's starting to, at this point in time, take a real toll.
I mean, we'll be transparent here.
Chris,
Mark and I
break off. We'll come right back. We'll talk about
right.
that. It's real. Reality has been there, but now it's stark, and it's very apparent. And the bank ledgers are looking worse and worse as we go along. It's an election year. A lot of lease agreements and landlords are looking at how they can secure their future. There's not a secure future for anybody right now. And the lack of effort or help, and again, I want to pose this question as well when we come back, is why isn't there a seat at the table? Do you feel that maybe the governor just sees you as like, I know what they're going to bitch about. I know that they're going to complain. I know that anything that I tell them, they're not going to be satisfied. So I'm just not going to include them in the discussion at all. That's the question. We'll come back. The Modern Eater Show continues.
Hi, I'm Charlie Gottenkenny, brewmaster at Brews Beers. Our all-new Abbey 4-pack contains the main products of Abbey and Trappist breweries in Belgium. So with the 4-pack, you'll get a single, a double, a triple, and a quadruple. One of each. Most monastery breweries will make 2 to 4 of these. Some of them make all 4. And American craft breweries, like Brews, that specialize in Belgian beers, will make multiple versions of the Big 4 throughout the year. So where can you get an Abbey 4-pack? Well, you can get it at either Brews location, 67th and Pecos in Midtown, or in the East Colfax neighborhood at Colfax and York. You can also find them at fine liquor stores throughout the Denver area. So get yours today and take home some Belgian-style badassery.
Hey guys, it's Brian Rizzuto with Encore Energy, the guy who saves your businesses money on natural gas. I know these are crazy, crazy times right now, so while your business is working on increasing your sales, let me work on saving you guys money on your natural gas. I'll make it as easy as possible. Just provide 12 months worth of natural gas bills to me. I'll do the rest. I know you're really busy, so let me get to work for you. You can reach me at 720-245-5771. I look forward to hearing from you guys, and let me try to save you some money in these crazy times. Bye.
We started Meridium Spirits because we love the way that spirits and cocktails can bring people together to socialize, to bond, to have conversations. Well, right now we've got some big conversations to have. Coop Vodka and Coop Gin are available at liquor stores across the metro area, but if you can't find us or would like to have us behind your bar or at your restaurant, send us an email, info@meridiumspirits.com. We know things are a little different these days, but think of us the next time you're planning a virtual happy hour or a socially distant picnic. And keep an eye on our social media, Coop by Meridium, for all the latest and greatest.
Hey, Dave Thibodeau here. Hey, friends of the Modern Eater, this is Dave Thibodeau from Ska Brewing and Peach Street Distillers. I wanted to let you know that our new brew distillery is up and running again in Boulder, and we've got a great selection of Ska beers, nearly 30 on tap. We've also got all of our Peach Street spirits available, a great mixology program that we brought down from the Western Slope and Palisade. We're open limited hours, Wednesday through Friday from 3 to 10. And then we open up earlier at 10 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday and get some brunch action rolling. We have 2 great patios. Socially distanced seating is available. And you can always check for more information at scastreet.com and hope we become your new favorite neighborhood spot. And I'd like to meet you there in the not too distant future for a beer or a drink soon. So take care, be healthy, and stay strong. And I'll talk to you later.
Hi guys, it's Cody Ann from Aspen Baking Company. We specialize in fresh, preservative-free, amazing bread. But with all the food news, go right here to the Modern Eater.
All right, welcome back to a Friday. It is August 21st, and it's a great spirited conversation here. More of these need to happen, and hopefully you're having them as well. And talking to your local politicians, just staying in touch with them and letting them know how you feel. We'll get back to this conversation in just a moment, but I want to tell you about Jeff Rourke and A-Plus Beverage Solutions. Jeff Rourke, he's the man. Custom installations, yes. Maintenance, yes. Adeline, yes. He can do it all. He's family-owned and operated. He is a local company that you can trust. You need to keep those taps going very smoothly right now, especially important as people want to have delicious beer done the way the brewer intended it to taste.
More important than ever, if you only get it for shortened hours, make sure it's damn good beer.
Good. Get a hold of the guy if you need him. We really would encourage you to do that because right now you got to pinch those pennies. You got to make sure every dollar is going to the right place, and waste is not a good thing. Pouring inefficient beer does what, boys?
Pour your money down the drain.
Don't pour your money down the drain. He's a phone call away. Hopefully you have a pen, Brian.
I got it now.
Okay, 720-272-3809. I'll bet you it's at the bottom of the screen. 720-272-3809. Give him a call if you need him. His name's Jeff Rourke and A-Plus Beverage Solutions. Okay, Mark Berzins, Little Pub Company, Chris Fuselier, Blake Street Tavern. Now, Mark, you've got a lot of stores. You've got a lot of locations, and I'm assuming one's subsidizing the other, and you're trying to mitigate your losses. You're just trying to play everything to the middle right now to hang on.
Yeah.
Is that really just the simple math of it all?
Yeah, it's like a lifeboat. You know, you're trying to keep everybody in the lifeboat, and we're trying to avoid. I mean, gosh, we don't even have half of our people hired back yet. Mm-hmm. You know, we still have over 200 of our staff members that are among the 87,000 people in our industry that are out of work right now. I mean, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
So we talk every week. I look at the stores that have just business patterns that are different and that are able to squeak out $1, and I remind them, any dollar that you can squeak out that's extra helps a store like the Ice House that is right now getting killed by the last call.
Direct question: do you forecast any attrition within the brand?
Yeah, I watched Troy Gard when you asked him that question and watched his answer, and my gosh, he looks like, when a president comes into office and then they go out of office and they look. That's how Troy looks. I know that's how I feel.
20 years older and 4.
I mean, I feel just like Troy feels. The longer this goes on, the more likely that your stores that are unable to survive under these restrictions. It's not fair because all of my stores were surviving under normal circumstances. But if this perpetuates, you simply can't keep them all. I wish I had endless money, and I wish that the feds were doing something sooner than 4 to 6 weeks from now. But we're trying to manage toward a future where we're the political football that is getting kicked around. We don't know where we're going to land. So
what keeps you hopeful?
I mean, I believe American ingenuity is amazing, and I think we're going to figure out our way through this. I do believe one of these vaccines is going to prove to have efficacy, and
is it going to be government intervention though that would keep you as alive as a businessman right now with your business?
We're going to have that. Yeah. I mean, once outdoor dining goes away, I mean, we're already talking about 50% haircut from capacity, 30% additional revenue cut from last call. When we lose outdoor patio spaces in our expansion on Halloween, I mean, we'll be at a spot where it'll make sense to go dark. Yeah. Go dark.
Yep.
Try to keep our landlords and mortgage holders happy.
Katie bar the doors and.
Yeah, and probably say go dark until March or until we can.
Oh my God,
we can get back to that. And that means,
and what's interesting is that on this webinar this morning with the state, they have some great programs for businesses that are 25 employees or less. Mm-hmm. They have great programs for people that are either minority, women, something like that. But I have typically 100 employees at a time. Mm-hmm. Mark's got 400 or so, and we're less than we've got 35 employees when we normally have 100. We are to think about winter. I'm just trying to still think about how we're going to do getting to September. I mean, and people think that we have this nirvana of outdoor dining. Mm-hmm. Great. I mean, everybody knows the Colorado weather. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's raining. It's either. How about this? We broke the record for number of 90-degree days. Right. People don't want to go outside until 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. Mm-hmm. So and that even hurts us with the hours. So before it was 10. So maybe you get an hour in then. Now we get another hour. Yeah. I mean, it's you mentioned government intervention. A lot of us did get PPP money, but guess what, folks? It dried up this week. Yeah.
Well, I want to ask you guys this because I think it's rhetorical. I mean, the answer is there. How many years have you been in business, Mark?
26.
How many years have you been doing business, right? Well, a lot.
Geez, Mark, I'm 26 too. 1994.
Too? Okay. In your 26 years of operating your business, did you ever think that there would be a time to where your success and failure didn't depend on what your actions were?
I was a former attorney, and I did it for 4 years. And my dad was in the bar business. And I thought, I'm going to get a normal job, 8 to 5, whatever. And I did lawyering for 4 years, and I absolutely hated it. And so I moved back to Colorado. We're in New Jersey. And I was going to work for him for 2 years. I ended up working for him for 8 years. But and then I went out and did Blake Street Tavern. But I thought, geez, going into the restaurant business, bar business, it's as safe as it is. It's been around forever. I mean, Prohibition was 1920s, and I love the fact of going in an industry that I love. I love working with people. Mm-hmm. I was never a guy that liked to be behind the desk, and then I love the fact of employing through the years hundreds and hundreds of people. I just love that fact, and now, things keep going bad. I'm gonna have to go back to being an attorney again. So so we got to get this sports back.
Oh man, I know. Speaking of that, I know you have your 60-second thing here, Jay. Speaking of that, the Broncos.
We can put it off.
No fans for the first couple of games, right? It's really interesting.
Well, I don't know how you feel, Mark. I wouldn't be surprised
all season
if the city they will work their hardest to figure out how to get fans into Mile High. Absolutely. And maybe it's 25%. But do you think they're going to work as hard for us little guys? No.
Well, Chris, so that might be – I'll be curious. I'd be interested to get the information because I'm a season ticket holder.
Yeah.
And I have a friend who's a season ticket holder. We both pushed our seasons back. They gave us an option to just push your season back a year. And they said that they would and wouldn't refund the money. I didn't care. I'd be real curious to see what happens. But, you guys, I've got a question. And Greg, I don't know, do we have time?
Well, yeah.
I've got a bigger question for you guys that's to Greg's point about money subsidies from the government and where the government steps in. Because one of the concerns that I've had, you guys are both sort of, I call you middle, not small businesses. You're sort of that middle business. You're not the big business, right? How do people get money fairly in this type of thing? Because I would hate to see a bigger business in New York that has to pay rent that's extraordinary compared to what you guys are, so they get more money because they're a bigger business versus...
Yeah, well, the PPP, there's a lot of problems with these big corporations getting money. But, for example, in the webinar today, they did say, well, you know what, because Sonia Riggs asked, what about the bigger places? And she said, it was Betsy Markey, actually. She goes, well, yeah, we're working on a program for bigger businesses, and I think we'll be able to roll that out in October. And I'm like, October? I mean, that's – and then you got to go through the whole process part. That's for a lot of us. I mean, that might where a lot of us may have to close then, or or like Mark said, go dark come November 1. So, I think that's a good point. I never thought of that. I think we are the definition of the middle business, and there's not a lot of we don't get the buyouts like the airline industry or the banking industry. Where's the support there? But then and then I see, like I said, I complain about they've got grants and stuff for these businesses that employ 25 or less. Mm-hmm. Well, why isn't the city and state bending over backward and say, gosh, man, Mark Berzins, he employs over 400 people. Let's really help this guy out. And here's the thing too. It takes more people off unemployment, right? And then if they loosen up some restrictions, we're the ones paying the sales taxes. So then you can do more things. We're the foot in the bill. So it's
the levee's building.
Yeah.
It's really building right now, Mark. And I'm kind of getting the Troy Guard feel from you, Mark.
There are no easy answers.
Yeah.
I really believe, having started as a single unit operator, those people should be the priority. That is their whole life. And when you think of this whole issue universally, mental health, the mental health of the little person who is facing ruin, that I understand why that should be the priority, even if it means that those of us who are tweeners get left out. We have more resources, we have more connections, we probably have a better ability to advocate for ourselves. I feel like it is the small. I've met more small bar owners in the last 5 months, and I knew a lot before. It's been extraordinary. And they are so despondent. They're so down. And they are all facing aggressive landlord efforts, which I also understand. I'm a landlord at a few of my buildings myself. So I get that. I think larger corporations do have Chapter 11. They rarely have personal skin in the game. They'll make out like bandits. They'll shed their underperforming properties. They'll restructure with the government's blessing. They'll leave the landlords and the public holding the bag, and they'll
turn the lights on somewhere else.
They'll be great.
Well, and they could even get a nice paycheck on the way out the door sometimes.
I have to pause this conversation because I'm on a schedule, and I do have in the next segment Sonia Riggs is coming up from the Colorado Restaurant Association. She answers our calls, which is great, and that she's going to talk today. Today is one of those days where the governor, it's a Friday, and he speaks, and the 1 month of the 10 p.m. cutoff is now lifted to 11. Does that do anything? Is that for you guys at all? Are you anxious or happy about another hour, or is it just kind of falls flat?
I think I told you this when you first reached out today, and I had said this is kind of like Stockholm syndrome. We've been taken hostage by our government, and now they give us a little sip of water with 1 hour, and we fall in love with them. It's certainly helpful. I'd rather have a sip of water than nothing. But it should have been midnight. It really should have been midnight. And Sonia did a great job. In a lot of ways, if you saw the CRA's letter, perhaps the only reason this got revisited is because Sonia had an opportunity to pry the door open. As you know, the trade association I'm involved with advocating for tavern rights, we're suing the governor. I'm sure he could care less how I feel. But,
and she's wearing big shoes because she's got to keep that, to your point. I mean, your door just got slammed. Sonia's got to keep her
letter was.
She's in such a tough spot.
But her letter to the governor was just phenomenal. I mean, she's such a phenomenal letter writer, and she had the right points. And I think what's really inconsiderate too is the fact that the governor and the state, they've had a lot of time to think about this. And they knew this was coming up. And I only have one place. So after the press conference, I tell, or actually this morning, I tell my scheduling manager, guess what? We're now able to go. I thought it was going to be tonight. I guess I was wrong. It's going to be starting tomorrow. Now you have to extend everybody's hours one more hour. But people make plans. So and then thankfully my scheduling manager was in the office today. I've only got one place. He's got 21. So he's got to get the word out. The 21 places, this is what's going on. And you're going to give us this short of notice? It's just really, like I said, it's inconsiderate. Give us a few days. Let us plan. But you're going to wait, string us along to the last day. It's just, come on, show a little compassion.
The inconsistency is consistent right now. And, guys, we're not going to give up on this. We're going to continue to beat the drum. If you guys I don't want to even think of the other side without you guys. We need all of us together and to be solvent at the end of this. Truly, that's all we all really want. And so just last words for this one today, Mark?
Well, we're going to keep, I'll tell all of my fellow bar owners, I am going to keep working every single day to reclaim the ground we've lost, because I think we lost it. The governor likes to say it's because of the data. The data really shows otherwise, and I'm going to keep on it for everybody, and I know Chris is as well, and I am optimistic. We're going to figure out a way to survive this thing as an industry, because
we have to.
We have to.
It's certainly. I always remind myself, guys, that it's a marathon, not a sprint. And I know me personally, and Mark's the same way. I'm going to continue to be the squeaky wheel. I'm going to continue to advocate on behalf of my place, our industry. We have voices, fortunately, in that we can spread the word, and we've got to reclaim what Mark says, and we're going to keep fighting. And this is not, if they were expecting today that like, oh, thank you, sir, we're so grateful. It's more like, thank you for moving the needle a little bit, but we got to go out a little farther. And I'll just leave you with this. I look at this analogy as like a car race. So you have a red flag, stop. You have a caution flag, which is yellow, and then you have a green flag. In the very beginning, there's red flags. But when he did the 10 p.m. rule a month ago, that was another red flag for our industry and our industry only. Then today, it's another red flag. If he had gone to midnight for us, that would have been the yellow flag. It would have been like, caution, you know what, let's give it a shot. We're meeting in the middle. And then if things continue to do well, then like maybe in a month or two, we get back to 2 a.m. But to continue to throw up that red flag is such even by just the advertising, just the talk about it, like, oh, geez, we're at a bar and boy, now we got to leave. What other industry is being attacked by us in the state of Colorado? So, I'm going to keep being, the whiny asshole, and I'm okay with that, and I'm going to keep doing it. I'm not going
okay
away.
with that too.
So, and love the fact that you guys really care about the plight of restaurants and bars, and love being
the heartbeat. It's the heartbeat.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Just on this last note, I know you guys are, but I really hope you're fighting the battles that you know that you can push the needle on, and directing your energies towards that. I know that there's and it's terrible to have this kind of angst that's built up, especially because if we're going to climb this mountain, we have to collectively do it together. Best of luck to you guys, and hopefully you'll peek back with us next week as we continue to follow this. Okay, go Avs.
Go Nuggets.
And go Nuggets today, too, yeah.
All right, thanks. We're way behind schedule. She's been most patient. We will take a break. Coming back, Miss Sonia Riggs. It looks like she's in her office now at the CRA. Sonia Riggs from the Colorado Restaurant Association is coming up next on The Modern Eater Show.
Hi, guys. It's Rebecca Berry with Hot Schedules powered by Ford. With all of the recent COVID rules and regulations, you may feel like you have way too many cooks in the kitchen. Well, fortunately, Ford is the leading hospitality provider and partner when it comes to onboarding HR, payroll, tax, and compliance needs. So that way you can keep all of those cooks in the kitchen and let us manage all of your administrative needs. That way you can focus back on your business and your growth plans. Give me a call for an analysis on how we can put that ROI back into your business and take those administrative burdens off your hands, because nobody likes handling taxes. That's Rebecca.berry@forth.com, Rebecca.berry@forth.com. And hey, you know what's cool, guys? Keeping your mask on so that way we can keep our doors open.
Hey, Modern Eater fans, I'm Don Trobo with the Annex by Ardent Mills, and I just wanted to give you a heads up about some of the great things we've got going on locally in the state. We're headquartered right here, and we're working with farmers in the San Luis Valley to bring you amazing Colorado quinoa. It's just like the South American stuff, but grown locally. We've got transitional wheat flour that's grown by farmers in Colorado and surrounding states who are in the process of turning their fields into organic. So we're taking that transitional wheat and turning it into flour, and now it's available for you to cook and bake with. And last but not least, we're now cleaning grain berries in Denver. So things like spelt or wheat berries or pearl barley, those are things that we're now doing right here locally and are available to you. Can't wait to share it with you.
Hey there, Barbecue All-Star. This is your year, so what if you weren't drafted? The only draft you need to be worried about is actually spelled D-R-A-U-G-H-T, and it's adult for the word beer. It's barbecue season, baby. Now get out there and grill your ass off.
Yeah, there we go. It's their summer dinner series. I'm a farmer. What's up, everybody? This is Kaibab Savage, co-founder of Savage Spectrum Winery, home of Sparklet, Palisade's newest premier sparkling wine producer, coming to you live from our vineyard. You can see this beautiful vineyard behind us. We're so happy to pair up with the Modern Eaters for the Summer Dinner Series. Check them out online, summerdinnerseries.com, to get your tickets. You can come hang out with us. You can try our latest releases of our Sparklets. It's the perfect aperitif to pair with these amazing creations the chefs are going to bring you. Can't wait to see you guys, hang out with you guys, tell you about our story, get to know you better. Hope to see you there.
Man, that was.
I just had to get hyped up. I just had to get, feeling good.
Back to the show in just a second, but before we do that, I want to talk to you about bread, and we're going to talk to Sonia Riggs from the Colorado Restaurant Association. Thank you so much for being so patient. AspenBaking.com is where you go to find delicious bread, and you find the best bread in the world. They don't use preservatives. They don't use the fake colors, the chemicals, everything. No. This bread goes bad after 3 days because it's fresh, and it's delicious, and it's full of butter, it's full of sugar, it's full of gluten, and it's what you do. Boxed lunches, Amazon Fresh. You want to be that person, Amazon Fresh, they'll do it. Order direct, order online. Aspen Baking since 1994 has been making the most fresh, delicious bread in the city. Now back to the show, AspenBaking.com.
Okay, fantastic. And we are back to the show, and she's been most patient. We're going to get her right into the show. Miss Sonia Riggs, Colorado Restaurant Association. Good to see you again.
Oh, that's I'm freaking out here.
Uh-oh, looking for audio. There she is.
There she is.
Hi, Sonia. Yes,
Yep.
and thanks for your patience, but that might have been a good opportunity to just kind of be a fly on the wall there. Were you able to catch any of that conversation?
I caught a little bit of it, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So here it is. The governor today, what seemingly was being generous to give another hour. Just your initial sound off. What's your reaction?
Well, I mean, it's certainly a step in the right direction. Any removal of restrictions is going the right way. So, we're honestly, we're also really happy to hear that the numbers overall are down. So I'm hoping that we'll continue to see further restrictions lifted, because in all honesty, we're certainly grateful. And in fact, it's not only just the last call that's extended till 11. It's also the delivery that my understanding is going to be, takeout that's going to be extended for another hour as well. But, frankly, restaurants are still hurting. We're going to keep chipping away at this however we can. I mean, we're working with the governor's office very closely to try to find, what's working in other states that we can maybe bring here. What are things we can do? As I know they mentioned to continue to allow for outdoor expansion above and beyond what the typical patio would look like through the winter, and hopefully we can make some fun experiences out of it. But I know that comes with costs, and I know that doesn't really get restaurants back to where they need to be. We surveyed restaurants recently, and they said they really need to be at that 75% capacity level to be able to survive medium term. So that's going to be key. And frankly, right now, even with the expanded patios, only 57%, or actually 57% of restaurants said that they're operating below 40% capacity, even with the outdoor space. So it still doesn't get restaurants to that 75% mark to really have hope for longer term survival. So like I said, we'll keep chipping away at that, working with the governor's office, however we can, try to either model ourselves after what other states are doing as it's working. Like we're seeing plexiglass barriers in other states. We're seeing, the people start to look at other things in lieu of that 6-foot distancing. And are those some things that we can look at here? Because we've got to get that capacity increased.
Chef Troy Gard was visibly frustrated on our show earlier on this week, and actually kind of just rippled through the industry as other restaurateurs and chefs are perking up their ears saying, how's the next guy doing? Are they hanging on? He's clearly frustrated, and you can see the look on his face of anguish of just truly, I'm watching things crumble in front of me. Morale, I think, is at an all-time low right now for a lot of folks that are just wondering what they're going to do into Q4 of this year, let alone how to even think about next year, right? More and more, what the tone is okay, well, how are we going to make this money? And if we don't make this money, who is going to help us out? Is there anything in your estimation that restaurants can do for that capacity? Troy Gard said he dropped $20,000 on some air filter systems within his business. And is there any lobbying for how maybe there could be a subsidy for that or more help on that end to get places up to specs to where maybe it can be increased inside?
Well, let me answer your question about is there any lobbying? We're lobbying all day, every day, 7 days a week to try to get things changed, both on the local level and on the state level, because and it's not just for capacity increases or where can we push, where can we chip away at this, but it's also at helping people understand that restaurants are struggling in a significant way, and that and meanwhile, by the way, we're seeing more and more costs imposed on restaurants, both by new government mandates. And I'm not going to speak to one side or the other. It's just a fact. The fact is we're seeing more things come up and that restaurants are having to adhere to, and there are costs associated with it. But now when we're looking at going into the winter, asking restaurants to now pay for outdoor heaters as a solution, listen, we're appreciative to get that as an option. It doesn't work for everybody, but if it works for anybody, that's something. But the fact is that restaurants just don't have money right now. So how are you asking people that can't rub two pennies together to now pay for additional things? Well, we are lobbying for this every day. We're trying to push for it at the federal side. Unfortunately, we heard the other day from Sean Kennedy from the National Restaurant Association that we're likely not to see additional PPP funding until mid to late September at this point. And there's going to be, it's a fact, there are going to be more restaurants out of business before that September, middle or end of September date comes around. Sadly, it's just a sad fact, but it's still being pushed at every level of government. And the other thing that we talked about on this call we had today with the governor's office was, it's and I mentioned this was, it's great that there's programs out there for restaurants of less than 25 people. But the fact is, what about those restaurants that employ 50 people or 75 people or 100 people? They're still important too. And we need to make sure that there are options, and we just can't wait. So we're going to continue to push and let them know, guys. I think I heard Chris mention that and I missed the date on this, but I think he said that some things weren't going to be rolled out until October. Well, that's just not acceptable. That's too late. We need to get help for restaurants now, and we are bending people's ears wherever we can. And so just know that we're fighting every day. This is what my staff is spending their time doing, is two things. We're lobbying wherever we can, and then the other side of it is we're also educating restaurants and helping them understand what the new rules are.
One great thing about you and your organization, you do a great job remaining neutral. Everybody on every side of this, everybody really loves what you and your organization does, and I think it was Mark Berzins who referred to you as a good cop today. Kind of.
She does, but this is not the Sonia is fired up today. Listen, I'm sitting back listening to Sonia today on the edge of my seat. Sonia,
well,
you sound like you are. You sound like she is really extremely passionate today, and I love to see that, Sonia, because you had a lot of fans in this room.
I know you may not see me passionate every day, but I am passionate every day, and I will tell you that we are fighting. And listen, with all due respect, neutral is not how I would describe us. We are fighting to keep restaurants alive every single day, and we are on the phone, whether it's with the health department or liquor enforcement or with the governor's office or with one of the mayor's offices in name your city. We are on the phone. We are on Zoom calls. We are on, whatever, we're sending letters, as they'd mentioned. We are doing whatever we can to try to educate folks. And we're talking to, to my colleagues and counterparts around the United States saying, what are you guys doing here? Where can we push? What's working for you? Because this is, I am scared about what could happen to this industry and what we're already seeing happen to this industry. But I don't want to come back next spring and be in a city, and this could name any city around Colorado, and it turns into a desolate area with all these amazing businesses, these restaurants that make our communities great. I don't want to see them boarded up, and sadly, we're starting to see that every day that goes on. We're seeing more and more of this happening, and so we have to fight. And that's really what we're dedicated to doing right now. I
guess when I say neutral, I mean in the sense that you're still invited to the dance. That you get a call or they'll take your call. And when I say they, it's really just the politicians and the bureaucrats that sometimes will block you. I mean, look, they're not taking Berzins' call and they're not taking Fuselier's calls, and they're just out of the equation altogether. So to have that. Again, what I called neutral voice was not to diminish your ferocity at all. So
no, I'm okay. I know you didn't mean offense, but I just wanted to clarify that for your listeners. But listen, we as an organization, the Restaurant Association, has really worked hard to try to work with both sides of the aisle, to work with people at all levels of government, whether they're a lawmaker or regulator, and help them understand the needs of this industry, and we'll continue to do that every day. And we have to talk to those people in order to try to get any movement, and we'll continue to do that wherever we can.
Okay, can I ask Sonia
yes.
a deep question here?
Oh no,
is this a state's issue or is this a national issue? Because when I talk to guys like this that are small, I'm wondering where does it go? I'm just going to stop. Where does it go, Sonia? Where do you think?
I mean, it's both. On the national side, the state doesn't have any money. We all know that. When restaurants aren't bringing in tax revenue, and name all the other businesses that aren't bringing in the sales tax revenue because of limitations, the state and the cities are not getting that money either. We know that. We know they had to make significant cuts, and so they just don't have a lot of money to give. Where they're getting their money from is from the federal government. So where we're fighting for this cash relief, which is one of the top things restaurants say they need to survive, we're getting that from the federal side. So that's what we're fighting for there. We're also fighting for liability issues, protection for the folks that are what we call the good actors, who are following, which are, I will say, the overwhelming majority of this industry is not only already uniquely trained to keep people safe, but they're now going above and beyond, oftentimes above and beyond what the government's even telling them that they need to do. But we want to make sure that there's then support for those folks that are doing the right things. And so that's going to happen at the federal side. What's going to happen at the state side is this capacity, which is what the president has said. State by state, they need to decide how we're reacting to the coronavirus and how whatever the capacity limits are, what the rules are, how we're to abide by that. And that's where we're really pushing the state wherever we can. I'm happy to say that they're having these conversations with us, because we've got to. And if we're not here doing this, who is? Because they're not living in this world every day. They're living on the epidemiological side and on the virus side, and we're having to educate them on what these businesses are going through, and try to give creative ideas wherever we can based on what we're hearing from others on what might work here. So and frankly, it's also a local side too. There are things that local government can also do to help support, as we've seen some have also taken money that they've gotten from the CARES Act and passed that along to businesses. But they may not, because they're not living it every day, they may not know that, that certain restrictions are making it harder for their favorite restaurant down the street to get that money. And so it's our job to help educate them on that.
Time and money is running out. That's clear right now. Again, the 1 hour lifted to 11 p.m. for last call. I mean, that's a step in the right direction. If you want to know what will make Mark Berzins lose his mind, he talked about on Tuesday's call that nursing homes may allow inside visitation. And he said if that happens before he's able to go back to regular business, that all bets are off. He might just freak out and go nuts.
Well, I mean, I can certainly understand that concern. It'd be a little confusing for me to understand why they would do that. Why are you letting people in the high risk populations? But I haven't heard that, so I can't speak to anything around it. Other than it's just an initial reaction, how that seems odd.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people are looking for a rhyme and a reason right now, and consistency. It's like, okay, well, let's have data-driven and consistency because this is my business, right? I'm watching it just crumble in front of me, and we're seeing that with folks. Okay, I have to ask you this question. I know your time is limited. This is the COVID charge question. We spoke to a gentleman from the Bonnie Bray Tavern who put a $2 COVID charge in. There was a Fox 31 news piece that said there were some people, there was one person in particular that really didn't like the charge at all. Operators are trying to find any kind of way that they can to bring in a little bit of extra relief for just charges.
Well, trying to be creative.
Yeah, gloves, rubber gloves.
Yeah.
And, I mean, down to everything. Now, he said that this was upon a recommendation of the Colorado Restaurant Association. Let's start there.
So I want to be clear. We don't tell people how to run their businesses. We just help them do it legally and try to help support them however we can. So we don't tell you to add a charge or not. But I will tell you that there have been more and more people that are adding different charges to their receipts so they can stay open. Restaurants, a lot of people don't know this, but restaurants on average make a 3 to 5% profit margin, meaning these owners have to feed their families too. And that's what, if they're taking something home to feed their families, they need something. And so for every dollar you spend, if they take home 3 cents, there's not much left when you add new government mandates and then you take away 50% of their revenue, and they're still trying to employ people and their rent and their lease costs don't change. Their fixed costs, don't change. It's really challenging. So I can understand why we're seeing more and more businesses start to look at creative ways to bring in additional revenue. But even before we're seeing COVID charges, we started to see charges to help just pay for wage increases and sick pay. And again, I'm not speaking to whether a restaurant may or may not agree with that, because we've seen restaurants on both sides of that issue. But I will tell you, it costs more money to do those things. And so, people don't love it necessarily if you wouldn't take their hamburger and make it from $10 to $15, but that's one option. Another way is for them to be open with you and saying, I'm adding this charge on your bill because of this specific thing, just so you're aware. And that's really up to the business, but I can certainly understand why people are doing that.
We're all for it, to tell you the truth. And I think that most people really should be.
You should. I got an idea.
Yeah.
Put 1% on packaged liquor and marijuana as a tax. Give that to the restaurants. Give it to these small businesses to help them.
Interesting thing.
Well, those sales are up.
As we move forward into this final quarter of the year and looking for ways to actually bring in that extra revenue or just to hang on, are there some creative things that you're seeing out there right now, Sonia, that operators are able to do to maybe increase that revenue just a bit?
Well, we had already seen them start to sell provisions and selling fun cocktails to go, yeah. And I think the movement to 11 will hopefully help with that a bit with those types of things. But I think we're probably going to see more and more creative solutions in winter. I'm already hearing people talk about fun igloos or outdoor spaces. Maybe making unique experiences for families. So it'll certainly be interesting to see what folks come up with there.
Yeah.
We're continuing to push Colorado Restaurant Bingo at corestaurantbingo.com, encouraging people to support their restaurants and also participate in a fun contest.
Love it.
And showing your support for restaurants, you can win prizes, including some fun vacation options in Colorado, so you can drive to them and support our economy here. But I think we'll continue to see more and more unique ideas as people are really forced to be more creative. Sadly, it's the fact, but we'll continue to keep pushing every day to increase capacities and help support restaurants however we can.
Sonia, remember the days when we debate about minimum wage and tip credits? Yeah.
That's not over. Sadly, I think a lot of government officials don't understand how this can take away jobs and put restaurants out of business, which takes the wages to zero. But it's still happening. We'll still have those debates once again, I'm sure, at some point.
What else? What do you want to leave us with, Sonia?
No, I just appreciate you continuing to talk about what's happening in this industry so that folks see, real life on what's happening for this amazing industry, and people that are so caring and are still philanthropic during this time. I've still seen such acts of kindness for restaurants going out there and donating food and donating their time and helping wherever they can. And it's really heartwarming while they're trying to keep their employees on board, and they're just trying to do the best they can. So I just want to leave everybody with, please continue to support your local restaurant with whatever you feel comfortable with, right? Whether it's going out and sitting on a patio or whether it's taking something to go or ordering to your home. We really appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean, first responders, of course, right? Heroes. But also folks that go to your table, you don't have a mask on. They're not protected. They're wearing their mask for you. Show appreciation.
Totally.
And one way that you can do that is the Industry Spotlight Awards that you guys are looking for nominees right now. I think it's more important than ever.
I'm glad you brought that up.
It's more important than
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying I think it's more important than ever right now that there is recognition for these fine men and women that are working so hard to create an experience for you, because if you don't have that escape from your day-to-day, which restaurants and bars have served that for us so much for so many years. I mean, it's embedded into our cultures.
Yeah.
And with that and the recognition, I think right now it's more important than ever to recognize these folks.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up, Greg. Thank you. We really debated on whether we continue doing our awards program this year, but realized it's more important than ever, I think, to your point. There are some amazing stories on what restaurants are doing for their communities, on what employees are doing to keep their restaurants open. And we'd really like to share those. We'd like to, first of all, honor these folks that are working so hard during this difficult time and share those stories with the public. And so, we do encourage people to go to corestaurant.org, enter the Industry Spotlight Awards. It's free. It is no cost for them to participate whatsoever. And it's a great way to honor your employees and these folks that are really working hard and sharing their stories in the industry. And they'll get we work with glass blowers to make these beautiful awards that they can really be proud of and get recognized in a public way. So that awards program and that call for nominations is open now. So we're just asking people to take a few minutes just to share their stories so we can bring that to our awards committee to consider.
Absolutely. That's the high note we need to leave on. Recognition all the way around. And we recognize you, Sonia, for just leading us. And we couldn't ask for a better leader. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sonia.
Thank you. Thanks, Greg. Thanks, Brian. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's Sonia Riggs, President and CEO of the Colorado Restaurant Association. We are behind. It is a Friday, and it is August 21st, right?
Yep.
Guess what's coming up next, Brian?
Well, we got another cause that we're going to talk about today, and I think it's Pints for Prostates.
Last time it was a Friday. It was a Freaky Friday, and Jay and I switched seats. Jay's going to stay in his seat today, but when we come back, I'm moving over to your seat, and you're going to come sit here and drive the rest of the show. Brian Freeman driving the show. He's coming up next, the Modern Eater Show on a Freaky Friday.
Hey guys, Chris Johnson here, owner of Rome Sausage, your hyper-local source for all things sausage awesomeness. My family is proud to carry on the fine traditions of Rome's founder, Jerry Rome, by producing a variety of amazing sausage in small batches with an eye on quality, not quantity. Every batch is made here in the great state of Colorado by hand mixing spices, utilizing lean cuts of pork to make an outstanding product. Sourcing ingredients and materials locally, we are committed to supporting local vendors, chefs, restaurants, and the entire Colorado food scene. Getting hungry yet? Brats, Italian, breakfast, hot Polish, green chili, chicken apple, and the world's best chorizo. You can source all of our sausage through a variety of food service distributors. If your distributor doesn't carry it, call us. We'll come direct. You want a custom item? We'll do that too. Samples, and of course, sausage jokes, can be had by contacting me directly at chris@romesausage.com or by phone at 303-296-7663. The modern eater loves Rome sausage, and I know you will too.
Hey, Zach Ryder here, Colorado Mills Sunflower Products out of Lamar, Colorado. Your only local source, grown from a local crop to produce a local oil for local chefs. You can find it at Shamrock Foods, What Chefs Want, Seattle Fish Company. Let me try it one more time, then we'll see. Hey, restaurants, we're glad you're reopening. From Colorado Mills Sunflower Oil, we'll see you soon.
First, we partner with the best farmers in the world, and then we tell them, we will take it all. Process whole spices daily, blend custom spices to order, keep it fresh, safe, and flavorful, all so that you can get back to doing what you do best. So whether you're a restaurant, a food manufacturer, or an at-home cook, be sure to visit The Spice Guy at www.thespiceguyco.com.
Hey guys, at the Modern Eater, this is Rich O'Brien with Elevation Food Service Reps. I'm here with one of ourselves, a newly appointed hospitality specialist, Kalina Hilliard, and we're here in our showroom, and we've got our bar set up, we've got a lot of chai. Come see us, come see what we've got, and Kalina can help you guys out in the world of hospitality with anything. Take a little journey into the 38th Avenue kitchen just to see what's going on in here. And as I come in here, I'm noticing, Howard, what are you doing? Nothing. Show me, what are you doing? Nothing. Nothing? Look at this beautiful equipment in here. Look at this beautiful, chefs, restaurateurs, anybody that has anything to do with food service, come on over. We'd love to help you with menu development, love to show you everything about equipment. And maybe we'll even have a few pops.
Okay, we are back to the Modern Eater Show here in Colorado, Denver's really hot local news around food and beverage right here. We are back today. I am with Jay Parker and Greg Hollenbach. And we're into the second hour of the show today, and right now we're going to talk about something that's actually really important to me, and it should be important to a lot of people out there. It's prostate cancer, and we're here with Rick and Brea talking about Pints for Prostate. And tell us, we got a Denver beer tasting coming up. What's going on?
Yeah, guys, thanks for having us on. We appreciate it. Pints for Prostates has been around now for since 2008, and we come to Denver every year, usually during Great American Beer Festival weekend, and we host the Denver Rare Beer Tasting, which is a really great afternoon where we celebrate passion around craft beer and have some terrific breweries in and pouring some really rare stuff from the brewers' private collections and cellars. Unfortunately, this year with COVID-19, a live event at the McNichols Center with 1,000 people just isn't in the cards. So we've gone to a remote format.
Nice. Now tell us a little bit more about Pints for Prostate. How did it get started back in 2008?
Yeah, well, Pints for Prostates was born out of adversity. I'm a beer writer, and I was diagnosed with prostate cancer at 47 years old in 2007, and thankfully went through a successful treatment for the disease in 2008. So some of us in the beer world got together and talked about what we could do to raise awareness among men, because in my case, I really thought prostate cancer was something that 70-year-old guys got, and didn't realize that a lot of men at a younger age do develop prostate cancer, and sadly, it's a more aggressive form the younger you are, and because you're not getting screened usually at that point, you discover the illness, and it's already developed into later stages.
Now, this is Greg. Thanks for joining us, you guys. The awareness for prostate cancer doesn't seem to be as affluent as other cancers, right? I mean, with women, obviously, very prevalent breast cancer and addressed, obviously. I think Jack from the Rockies, Who Calls the Rockies, at the end of each broadcast, he makes awareness towards prostate and prostate cancers, just getting checked. What do you figure the lack of awareness is, or even just push or talk about it is right now, and how can we increase that conversation with gentlemen?
Well, the reality is guys don't really like to talk about prostate cancer, and in general, they don't like to go to the doctor, right? I mean, most guys will avoid going in for an exam. So you have that barrier to start with. Women are far more advanced than we are in so many ways. And that includes their approach to health. But prostate cancer, it affects 1 in 8 men. It's much more prevalent actually than breast cancer is in women. Yet it doesn't get the attention. So that was one of the ideas behind Pints for Prostates. We decided to reach men through the universal language of beer, and we've just gotten terrific help from brewers, across the country who are willing to jump in and help us with events and do things to help us raise awareness.
Now, how many people do you have signed up in the Colorado and Denver area, Rick?
For the upcoming event, we have a number of brewers taking part and doing things. We've got several who are involved, who are going to be part of the program and speaking during the 3 days. We've got 8 hours of programming spread across September 25th through 27th. We have some beer releases that are going to happen in Colorado at Denver area breweries. Burns Family, Artisan Ales, River North, Verboten, Westbound and Down, Westfax, and Joyride Brewing are all going to be doing releases during that weekend.
Hey,
So
Rick,
we've got a lot of support.
Hey, Rick, can you see Joyride right now on your screen? Because he's staring right at you.
Yes, we can.
Oh, far out.
Yep,
there you
I
go.
can see him.
That's cool.
There you go.
Hey, Brea, your involvement, Brea, other than just making us ugly guys, look the screen look better, Brea. What's your involvement with this?
So I'm the director of communications for Pints for Prostates, and I handle a lot of the event planning and our social media. And specifically for this event, I handle our silent auction, which is a big fundraising component for this event. Normally, obviously, it's in person, but we're still going to have a silent auction this year. So we're really excited about that.
And today we're auctioning off Dave Burgeon.
We've got some really great items for this year. Typically, there'll be rare beer collector items, but then also something that's really cool and I feel like unique to our event is that we have brewing experiences that are rare. So different head brewers and owners of breweries will have a group of people. So the winner could maybe bring several friends with them and do private tours, private cellar tastings, really unique, kind of one-of-a-kind experiences.
Really exciting. Do you do anything now to promote this awareness year-round as well? Because we have the big event. And what can we do to support this with the breweries year-round?
So typically in a normal year, we have events all around the country, small scale events at different bars and breweries. Sometimes we'll have someone who's a prostate cancer survivor that's connected to a brewery and we'll host an event. Sometimes we'll have larger events. One of our biggest ones is in St. Paul in the spring. We're really kind of navigating this new area now with the rest of everybody else, figuring out what it might look like for the time being when beer festivals might be looking differently. So this is our first virtual event, but we really have kind of been opening the speaking channels to think about maybe this being something that we do again, where this is honestly for us just a totally new format.
Yeah, Jay, I was listening to your conversations with the Colorado Restaurant Association and with some of the bar owners and brewery owners before we came on. And we're really concerned because we're seeing the ravages of this on the beer industry and on the restaurant industry for certain. In our case, we started the year off. We had a major event in North Carolina in January, and then our world stopped. Normally, in the normal course of a year, we have between 85 and 100 events around the country, and we're sitting here in August, and we've had one. So this virtual event coming up is very important to us, and we're getting support from the brewers around the country. That's pretty amazing. They're fighting for their survival yet. True to form, craft beer is a great community, and they've stepped forward to help us. I mean, we've got the event format that we're going to have at the end of September. We have meet and greet situations where some really amazing craft beer luminaries are going to be on with us. We're going to have Tommy Arthur from Lost Abbey, and Ken Grossman from Sierra Nevada, and Neil Fisher from WeldWorks, to just name three of them. Jeff Stuffings from Jester King, and Jeff Larson from Alaskan. There's going to be a chance for beer fans that buy a ticket to our virtual event to go into these meet and greets and have their questions answered by some of the greats in the beer industry. And we also have a number of panels going. Dave from Joyride is part of a panel we have on the hazy future of IPA. It's going to be Dave along with John Harris from Ecliptic up in Portland, and Chad Henderson from Noda Brewing in Charlotte. And these are all award-winning brewers who make fantastic IPAs, and that's just one of the panels that we're going to have throughout the weekend.
Rick, would you share with everyone where can people go and register for the event and get tickets, or however the best means of communication with everyone is?
Yeah, you can find us pretty easy. You can go to pintsforprostates.org, or if you're on Facebook, it's Pints, the numeral 4 Prostates, and you'll find us. You'll find information on the event, and you can check it out. And the great thing about it is we understand that not everybody's going to be able to give up parts of 3 straight days for this event. So the platform that we're using, we're going to record all of the sessions, and with your ticket, you're going to be able to go back in if you want and watch any of the sessions for up to a year.
And now I'm sure all the tickets are for donation. How much are tickets?
Tickets are $60, and with that $60, you not only get all access to the event live on the weekend, plus those taped things that you can go back and watch, but everybody who signs up will get a festival T-shirt and a tasting glass shipped to their home, because part of the festival experience is getting that T-shirt and glass, right?
Yeah.
And then also, when we come back next year and we're in Denver live on October 8th of 2021, everybody who's attended this year is going to have special VIP status for that event.
That's cool.
That is very cool.
You can break your tasting glass in your own kitchen this year.
Yeah.
And it's Pints for Prostates, not to be mistaken with Brian's URL, Pints in Prostates. Which
whoa,
had a little bit of humor to this, right? I mean, and that's how you get guys having the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you right now, when we're working our booth at a beer festival, we like to be along among the breweries, and so the guys will be coming down and they'll have their tasting glass and they'll stick it out to us thinking, it's just going to be another brewery, and all of a sudden they see the signage and we start talking to them about prostate cancer. So you got to have a little bit of fun with it, or you're going to lose them. So we definitely we want to start a conversation with beer at a time when guys are maybe a little bit more relaxed and are a little bit more willing to talk about their health.
Hey, listen, it's Jay here. I'm somebody that I'm 44. I'm going to be 44 next month, and I don't put a lot of thought into prostate anything.
Do it.
But and this isn't for the show or anything. It's like when I saw the Pints for Prostates, and I don't even drink beer. You know, I don't even drink, right? But the fact of what they're doing and kind of the involvement with the brewers and the guy thing and the machi, I'm starting to think about it, and it's something that I actually have to put on my list. So it's working is basically what I'm saying. It works in that sense.
It worked.
Yeah, it worked.
Jay's thinking
Well, it
about
worked.
it.
I'll let you know when they're
just
in there. All
thinking
right,
about it.
but I'm thinking about it.
And I want to continue this conversation, but I want to bring Grant and Dave in from Joyride Brewing, because these are guys that are actually supporting you guys and actually pouring it back into Pints for Prostates.
Good segue. That's a good segue.
So, Grant and Dave, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming out.
Thanks for having us again, guys. Cheers. Cheers, Rick. Good to see you.
It was great to see you guys.
Beer.
Nice.
And we're excited to be participating in the Pints for Prostates event. I know I'm going to be on the IPA panel, and we're also going to be releasing, we haven't told you this yet, but we decided we're also going to be releasing the beer for it as well. So that's going to be a chocolate coconut Baltic Porter, barrel-aged. So that's going to be something that's pretty special, and looking forward to supporting the cause. As you know, Rick, but maybe not everyone knows, my dad's a prostate cancer survivor, so something that I take very seriously, and can't thank you guys enough for the work that you're doing in this arena.
Thanks, Dan. The thing is, Dave, that you know this because we've done this at your brewery. We actually have screening events at festivals and breweries, which it's a simple, quick 5-minute blood test. Guys can be in and out really quickly, and then they get mailed a confidential report to their home that gives them data not only on prostate cancer but health data on heart disease risks, diabetes risks, and other common male health issues. And we hear from guys that have been through that testing, and thankfully we've saved a number of lives over the years with it.
Well, Rick,
the PSA tests are so easy. I'm afraid of needles, and I get it done every year. And it's quick, it's easy. So if you're out there thinking like, I don't need to do it, or I'm afraid of needles, hey, I'm doing it. I've done it on camera before, show how quick and easy it is. And I think last year we had 2 or 3 people pop up as high risk. And so hopefully those people were able to get checked out, and hopefully we were able to save some lives through that aspect. And that's what this is all about. It's early detection. It's about breaking down those barriers of this discussion about getting your prostate checked out.
Exactly, and just having the conversation. And Rick and Brea, maybe you could share with us, how many people have you touched? How much money have you guys raised for this cause?
Well, I can tell you that every year we test a bit over 1,000 guys, and we've been at the testing for about a decade now. The test we administer, if a guy doesn't have insurance and he walks into his doctor and they order up the labs, it's about $700 worth of lab work. So in a lot of cases, particularly in this age where money's a little bit tight, and people may be on an insurance program with a high deductible, the ability to get that free lab work is really important. So we're happy to do it.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations for being able to move the mark like that.
On the stream, Sam Epstein says, thank you for always putting on a great event. This was to be our 6th year going, but we are happy to be supporting Prostates for Pints virtually this year and can't wait until next year. That's Sam.
Yeah, it's great. Brea will tell you, we have people who support us around the country every year, auction people and things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have repeat volunteers that come every year. We have a great support group of people, event attendees that we start to recognize because they come year after year. But we kind of love the idea of this virtual event because we've got a lot of people that have reached out to us from all different corners of the country or the world that maybe haven't been able to fly to Denver for one of our events. And so we think it's really cool that we can bring people together in this way. And we still want to bring a lot of the spirit of the event, which I think for us, what feels most special is the brewing community coming together to support men, which I think, is really an important part of this, is just the fundraising and awareness aspect, but also just a day where the brewing community is together. I think for beer fans to have access to some of these people that make their favorite beers, it's a really unique experience, because we always have the head brewer or owner of the brewery at our event. So to be able to have those conversations while you're drinking their beer, I think is a really unique experience. And so we want to bring that interactive side of things to our event this year virtually as well.
Rock and roll.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. It's a great cause that you guys are doing. And I'm sure Grant and Dave are stoked that they could be part of that. I mean, and Joyride as well. Guys, you said you're doing the special coconut. Say it again. What was that? It sounded so darn good, that porter.
Yeah, it's going to be a chocolate coconut barrel-aged Baltic porter. And so we're really looking forward to that. And we just took it was something we brewed towards the beginning of this year. We let it sit in a Laws whiskey, a couple of Laws whiskey barrels for about 9-10 months. And now we're going to spice it up a little bit, make it a little special for this event, and make sure that make some fun stuff and doing something for you guys to keep with the spirit of rare beer.
Boy, it sounds delish, guys. Can people come down and get it?
Yeah. We'll have it here at the tap room, and we'll be doing something special for it. We're still figuring out all the details of what we're going to do. Like I said, I haven't even told Rick about this yet. It's something that me and the brew crew just figured out a couple of days ago.
I'm getting in the car right now and driving to Denver, man. That sounds fantastic, that beer.
Yeah, well, Greg or Jay, did you want to say something?
Yeah, hey, why not? Well, I was going to say, as you hear a ding dong, that's Philip Raleigh from Distillery 291 going to chime in on the show here. Not only is Joyride Brewing supporting Pints for Prostates, they're supporting the Modern Eater and local business by doing our summer dinner series. This Tuesday with the butcher Justin Brunson and Distillery 291. So if Philip could straighten out his camera, we're going to get to him in maybe the next segment. But I just wanted to introduce Philip Raleigh from 291, who's going to be doing that with us. Hey, Philip, do me a favor. You're sideways, so turn your phone and correct itself, and then return it, and then it'll straighten it out. Or
is he frozen or is he posing?
Or you can, there he is.
There we go.
I thought he
Is
couldn't
that
hear
right?
me. Yeah, he was freaking me out there.
No.
Well,
you guys froze, not me.
Oh, we didn't.
Well, I'm not sure if we might have to break to a segment, a commercial here for a second, but I did really want to thank all of the Pints for Prostate and make sure that if there's any other way and people can get more information about you, or if there's anything you guys would really like to share with people, that we get that.
Well, you can definitely go to pintsforprostates.org or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. The one message we have for guys is get tested, live longer, drink more beer. And we stress that everywhere we go, and realizing, I'm a prostate cancer survivor. Dave's dad is a prostate cancer survivor. During this weekend, we actually have a panel with 3 brewers who've been involved with our organization over the years that are prostate cancer survivors. Larry Bell from Bell's Brewery in Michigan, Eugene Seymour from Alamo in San Antonio, and Jeff Bell from Pappy Slocum, who also in Texas. So you probably don't know it, but you probably know people in your life that have been through the challenge of prostate cancer and have come through the other side, and we're here, we're having a beer. So please get tested, live longer, drink more beer, guys.
Well, Rick and Bria, we really appreciate you coming on the show today and everything that you were doing for all the men and women out there in the public, and especially around the beer industry. Boys at Joyride and Distillery 291 will be back here momentarily after we take a break, talking about the Summer Dinner Series. And prostate awareness should always be on everyone's mind. So thanks again to Pints for Prostate, Rick and Bria. And we'll be back. You are at the Modern Eater.
Hi, I'm Charlie Gottenkenny, brewmaster at Brews Beers. Our all-new Abbey 4-pack contains the main products of Abbey and Trappist breweries in Belgium. So with the 4-pack, you'll get a single, a double, a triple, and a quadruple, one of each. Most monastery breweries will make 2 to 4 of these. Some of them make all 4. And American craft breweries, like Brews, that specialize in Belgian beers, will make multiple versions of the Big 4 throughout the year. So where can you get an Abbey 4-pack? Well, you can get it at either Brews location, 67th and Pecos in Midtown, or in the East Colfax neighborhood at Colfax and York. You can also find them at fine liquor stores throughout the Denver area. So get yours today and take home some Belgian-style badassery.
Hey guys, it's Brian Rizzuto with Encore Energy, the guy who saves your businesses money on natural gas. I know these are crazy times right now, so while your business is working on increasing your sales, let me work on saving you guys money on your natural gas. I'll make it as easy as possible. Just provide 12 months worth of natural gas bills to me. I'll do the rest. I know you're really busy, so let me get to work for you. You can reach me at 720-245-5771. I look forward to hearing from you guys, and let me try to save you some money in these crazy times. Bye.
Okay, and we are back at the Modern Eater. I am here with Jay Parker, Greg Hollenbach, and we are giving you the skinny on everything today in the food and beverage news around Colorado. It was a firestorm today because we've got a big 1 hour extra time for bars and restaurants to stay or to serve alcohol every night. They can serve till 11 o'clock and earlier. We want to thank, we had Mark Berzins and who else was that? Mark Berzins, and Chris Fuselier from Blake Street Tavern and Little Pub Company, respectively. They gave us some great news about where they stand and about their continued efforts. We also spoke with Sonia Riggs and her efforts and what the CRA is doing to make things better.
And now it's a
for
Freaky
all of
Friday.
us. And it is a Freaky Friday because, folks, most of you are used to seeing Greg Hollenbach sit in this chair.
Brian
and
got
today we said,
promoted.
let's shake it up. You know, what's better to shake it up when you got someone like Philip Raleigh in the house. And we also have Grant and Dave from Joyride Brewing. We're stoked because we're going to get to play with you guys next Tuesday at the Summer Dinner Series. And you all, if you haven't seen it, go check out the SummerDinnerSeries.com, the SummerDinnerSeries.com.
Yeah.
Because what, boys? What happens at the SummerDinnerSeries.com, Jay?
Magic. Go to themoderneater.com, too, and you can see all of the dinners so far and just tons and tons of pictures of delicious food and content. I wanted to ask, the brewers, tell us what beers you're bringing, and then we'll get to Philip and find out what cocktails they're going to be whipping up. But Dave and Grant, what kind of suds are we tasting on Tuesday?
Yeah, we're bringing our award-winning Ice Cutter Kolsch, silver medal winner at the Great American Beer Festival from last year. And then we're also going to be bringing our Duke of Lizards IPA, which is actually what I'm sipping on right now. IPA, we've really been digging on a blend of Simcoe and Strata hops. So figure going to be two great crowd pleasers for a great event. So really looking forward to it.
And you guys are doing to-go beer, too, right now during these times, right? Everybody needs to know where they can get their favorite beer to go.
Absolutely. We recognize that not everyone is maybe comfortable coming and sitting in the tap room right now. Restaurants, bars, we're doing a tremendous job of making sure that everything is being safe. But we understand that maybe not everyone is comfortable sitting down, so we're doing a lot of beer to go. We're canning up the majority of our beers in 16-ounce packages, and then the rest in 32-ounce packages. And so that way you can still get beer to go from almost all of your breweries out there. A lot of restaurants, bars are doing drinks to go, but here at Joyride, we have a lot of options for beer to go right now.
And your guys' stuff is so tasty.
Delicious.
And speaking of a wild man, I don't know if you can see him on the screen there, but if you haven't met, right below you, you've got Philip from 291 out of Colorado Springs. Do you guys like whiskey up there?
Giddy up.
Oh yeah, we like some whiskey.
Giddy up.
Well, Philip, how are you doing down, or rather
Well, we'll
up
have
in the
plenty
Springs?
with us for the series.
It's good to see your face,
Yeah.
Philip. How are you?
We're doing great here, living in the COVID world and selling whiskey and cocktails to go. Can
Phil,
y'all hear me?
Why is your reception so terrible? Are you on cell service or are you on Wi-Fi? There you go. There's the answer. See you later.
He's like,
whatever, Jay.
See you later. Well, this is a great opportunity.
Let's see what's happening here.
This is a great opportunity for Grant and Dave to tell us about.
Well, I want to hear from Grant. Grant, I feel like I haven't heard anything from you.
Is that
today,
better?
man. How are you?
How's it going? We're doing well, like I said, the COVID world, just getting everything taken
I don't know
care
what's going on, guys.
Surviving.
Oh no, Philip, you're back. We were just while we were tap dancing, waiting for you, Philip. We were talking to Grant, who is Grant. I'm trying to remember the last time I saw you, Grant. It was.
You came in for a show with Fresh Pizza.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah.
Bowl show. Yeah, that's right. That was a good one.
Don't know what's happening.
Philip, I want your tie dye. I want that tie dye, Dave. Are you making your tie dyes?
I've had this one for a while.
Have you?
I'm a good hippie at heart, so I woke up this morning, was just feeling tie dye.
Credit.
That's right.
I love it. Well, right now we're playing Are You Frozen or Are You Posing?
Sorry about that.
Man, it's just not working.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can barely hear
Not
you.
working today?
Yeah,
Can you
there it
hear
is.
me?
Now
Oh, there
I
we
see
go.
your hands. What do you bring? I mean, you're bringing delicious.
Sorry.
You're bringing delicious.
Oh, there we go.
Are you watching a different show?
Are you drunk?
Yeah. Raise your hand if you have a cowboy hat and you're drunk.
Not me.
Hey, so Philip, what are you bringing down for the summer dinner series? I know you've got something special up your sleeve for us.
So we are bringing a blackberry bourbon lemonade and our classic cocktail Whiskerita with us. So we're really excited. And then we'll obviously have our bourbon and our rye whiskey, our flagships, which everyone really seems to enjoy every time we're down there with you guys.
I got some bad news for you.
What?
Well, Brian and Jay don't want me drinking whiskey anymore.
I don't know why. I'm not surprised by that.
I guess I start coming in hot with when the whiskeys. I'm sticking to beer, right? I'll drink the delicious Joyride beer.
Well, but the cool thing, everyone's getting a bottle, right? Is that what I heard? Like everyone's leaving with a bottle.
No,
like we're going to the Oprah show. Everyone's getting a bottle of $2.91 and a case of Joyride on the way out the door.
Yeah, that's right. Dave, Philip and Dave will just need your credit card number, Brian, and they'd be happy to make that happen, I'm sure.
No, we are going to have a great time. Guys, have any of you been able to watch some of the video and attend? I know I haven't seen any of you guys at the show, but sometimes I don't get to see everyone there. Have you seen it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is a good time, you guys, and I'll tell you, the chefs have been knocking it out. So if you want to take a look, I can put up on my screen here. Yesterday,
I can't see it.
Oh, darn. Oh, wait. Oh, no, not that one. Okay. Damn shame, guys. I've got a video right now of Justin Brunson with us. He's going to be our chef next Tuesday. We took him to the farm. And, a lot of people would say, what, you're taking a farmer to the farm? And Justin says, man, I'm not a farmer. I'm a meat guy. I've never been on a big commercial production farm like this in my life. And so I got to tell you guys, after the show, check it out because I'm going to run it here in a minute. But you will love to see this video if you go to the Modern Eater Facebook page. Or, Jay, what would you say?
Oh, I was just going to say, why don't you just hit play on it,
Okay.
and then you can just put it in full screen so it's easier for me to show our viewing guests. And then you can just narrate it for the guys at Joyride and Distillery 291.
Okay, I like that. Okay, guys, here we go. So I'm going to wind this up. Joe, let me get right back there. So what you're seeing right there is Greg and Justin Brunson and Joe Petracco, and they are standing in a cornfield that's about as tall as each one of them. It was cute because Greg and Justin came out with some shorts. And, if you ever seen grown men walk across a cornfield in shorts, that's a cute sight. You'd think we had a lot of twinkle toes out there. They were looking for a warm
You
spot.
just letting them go.
And Greg is. This was fun though, guys, because I'll tell you, we were walking right behind this huge. It was like, and so what they're showing right now is really a full-fledged corn operation where they're moving all the equipment and the workers through the fields. And I don't know if you know this about sweet corn. You only pull the top piece of corn off of there.
So you're telling me that if I see a stalk of corn that's got 6 stalks going around it, they only take the top ones?
They're only taking the top in sweet corn.
For sweet corn.
For sweet
what do they
corn.
do with the other ones? I mean,
nothing. They leave it in the field or plow it under, or they let someone else glean it. I'm actually having a conversation with Julie Petracco right now, and I'm going to stop this video for a second.
Keep it going.
Okay. Because what do they do? And sometimes they let other people come and glean it for food or for animal food.
That's what I was
But
thinking.
there's some problems right now. The government wants to track everything in a certain way. And so if they don't have the same tracking, remember the other day, right? We were out looking at the green beans. And so Petracco's not allowed to give pig farmers their green beans because of the fact that
You want
they
to let
can't
these
trace
guys
it.
off the hook?
No, are you guys having fun yet?
I was going to have a question for the brewers and distiller in regards to this corn that's being wasted. Isn't that something, Dave and Grant or Philip, can't you guys use this corn that they're not allowed to give you?
I mean, for us on a brewing side, it just depends on how it's been processed. So we'd have to look into that a little bit more.
No.
Yeah. There's corn being wasted, and we want to know what's going on there. Grant's actually drinking but our Crispy Delight right now, which is it's actually a rice lager, but we can make a lager with corn as well. So, and I know with whiskey, you guys are probably using corn all the time, right?
Yeah, we are, but that would definitely be something that, like, we have very specific regions where we're getting that from, and guidelines as well. So I don't think that would necessarily work out for our process.
Yeah, doesn't have a channel.
God, your internet is 100 times better right now, Philip.
Oh, thanks. I'm glad.
Yeah, it's not choppy. Hey, guys, you just mentioned that you have a rice beer over there at Joyride. I wasn't familiar with that. Is that are you guys doing that? Is that a gluten-free beer or what?
Not gluten-free. We are using over 50% rice in the formation of the grist. And rice does have a lower gluten rating than barley does. And so if you're more gluten intolerant than needing to be gluten-free, then I think that this is a beer that would really work for you. But it's real nice. It's similar to a beer that maybe you would want to have at a banquet, shall I say, without saying anything specific. We're calling it Crispy Delight, and it's a light beer. It's delicious, and it's something that the staff and customers alike have been crushing for the past couple of weeks. I'll tell you a quick story. After it had been tapped for about 3-4 days, we ran the sales numbers. We had gone through about 31 gallons, and we had only sold 5 gallons. So the staff had drank the rest.
So you better bring some of that with you.
Yeah, so we're enjoying it. That's for sure.
Yeah, that sounds nice. I bet we wouldn't be bothered if you guys wanted to bring a 6-pack and share a little bit down at the dinner on Tuesday.
Well, we'll do what we can.
You might not have any left by then, is what it sounds like from the internal trading that you have going on there. You must have a free shift drink, right? Yeah, that's what we're going to call it. I love it, you guys. So it sounds like that's one of the things that you're most proud of this year. What is a beer that you guys are most proud that you've done this year? Is it your own or a collaboration or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, we just got done. We celebrated our 6th anniversary this year, and so we did 6 collaborations for our 6th anniversary. So we did that with West Common Down, Downhill, Strange, Odell, Blitzboss, and why do I always forget the last one? Oh, and Station 26. And so all those went very quick. We still have all those on can here at the brewery. We only have one of them still on tap at the brewery. So we're doing a lot of collabs. The Duke of Lizards is something that's been going really well. That's the IPA that I'm drinking, and one of them that we're bringing to the dinner on Tuesday. And the Rice Lager is obviously something that we're very proud of as well. So one of the things that we're very proud of is just always coming out with new things. And so we've come out with 5 different beers in the last week. And so if you're coming to Joyride, there's a good chance that we're going to have something new and something different from the last time that you were here. And we try to come out with at least a new beer a week.
Well, you guys are definitely a favorite around here at the Modern Eater. I can tell you that for sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
And thank you. Now, looking down at Philip Rowley there, what do you got going on, Philip? You guys, every time I talk to you.
Tell us a story, Philip.
Yeah, Michael, you guys have so much stuff going on.
Well, this just last month we released our E-Batch number 7. That was really exciting for us. Really small run of that. We're gearing up for our 9th year anniversary coming up next month, September 11th. So that's exciting that we're almost, approaching 10 years old. We've got all of our fall allocated products getting ready to start coming out, pretty much one a month from now until Christmas. So, things are in full gear here and moving along.
Hey, Philip, how can people, if I want to be in the know, I want to know when you released your E7. How can people stay up to date with 291?
So really the best way where we do most of that is going to be through our social media campaigns, which are at Distillery291, both on Instagram and Facebook. We also have a really great email sign up on our website, which is distillery291.com. And that email blast is always going to be the first to let you know when our new releases are coming out, when those allocations come out of our Bad Guy, of our High Rye, of our Ease. So that's always the best way is to get up on that mailing list from our website or follow us both on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and we have a YouTube channel that's up now that is teaching all of our recipes, talks about our flights, talks about our cocktails. Candy did that for us during COVID, and we've really been moving into a lot of virtual and e-commerce on our website.
Nice. Now, are you stationary? Are you in the distillery? Could you give us a 360?
Yeah, let's take a look real quick. I'm here in the back. We got our fermentation tanks there. Over here, we got our stripping stills. That's Michael's original 45-gallon still. Our new 300-gallon copper finishing still built by a DOD company here in the spring. So we've got a lot going on. We're just filling barrels here this week, and production is crazy because everyone's drinking their whiskey.
Isn't that the truth? Well, everyone, I can't thank you enough for all your support, not only with the Summer Dinner Series, but being just such great partners to the Modern Eater, you guys. We really, really appreciate all that Joyride has done for us and 291. Look forward to seeing you guys next Tuesday. Everyone, I would tell you to go online and look for a ticket, but only scalpers have them at this point. So you're going to have to go to the secondary market. But we're going to have a great time, and I encourage you folks, look for next year. Look for a fall dinner series we're working on right now. But for Greg Hollenbach, Jay Parker, and myself, Brian Freeman here in the Mile High City, the Modern Eater is signing off, and we'll see you back tomorrow. But listen, if you're watching online, stay tuned. We've got some great commercials from our sponsors, and you can always find us at themoderneater.com.
Well, I mean, almost. I'm done playing commercials, but there's a fun little outro video.
The outro video,
show that stuff.
Bye, Philip. See you Tuesday. Bye, guys. We'll see you then.
Cheers, everybody.
Bye.
Cheers.